Oh, come on.
Call back here,
Silence.
guys.
Silence can be dangerous to esports growth, and I think we should all remember that as we move into 2004.
Well, let's not have a moment of silence then to think about it,
No,
and let's just keep talking.
Yeah, we absolutely should.
Anyone else? Have we not done anybody
See,
yet?
Thorin, this is why we
It's
can't have these
great
moments, is
StarCraft
because
2
of people
The
like
best
this.
StarCraft 2 moment was that weird, awkward moment that everyone thought was an awkward moment between In Control and Apollo, when they made that joke about Stefano maybe punching someone, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, Stefano must have really punched someone," and it was just a joke that fell a bit flat.
It was, yeah. People thought that
It was
Incontrol punched
non-existent,
Stefano into
completely.
retirement.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, so that was awesome. That was my StarCraft 2 moment of 2013. It was so funny that it stirred up a conspiracy theory out of nothing.
All right, that about sums that up. But any other thoughts? I guess on, I don't know, Thorin. Any other thoughts on just great play, that sort of thing, before we move on?
Actually, I'll go through a few of the games. Let me think. StarCraft 2, my favorites were probably the most underrated story of StarCraft 2 was actually Soul Key, because he only managed to win one event in the whole year, and it was the event where it looked like it was a fluke. It looked like Innovation just fell apart in the fourth game, and then somehow he flukily won. But actually, what people didn't realize was Soul Key only played WCS events. So he played something like 8 events over the year, and he never placed outside of top 8 in any of the events.
Yeah.
That's like almost unheard of in Korean StarCraft, to be able to get that level. And so yeah, he didn't win, but his like consistency was like out of this world. That must, just in terms of consistency, be one of the best years ever. Seeing all the Protoss players come out of nowhere, like in StarCraft 2, people whine about balance, but it's always about, is it Terran or Zerg that's imbalanced or overbalanced or whatever. But the Protosses almost never win anything in StarCraft 2. And towards the end of the year, we had all these sick Protosses come out, like Deer winning those 2 events, SOS won that event, Rain won an event at the end of the year. So it was interesting to see that. International 3 was good as well, because I don't know much about Dota, but I watched the final, and yeah, it was amazing, even though I didn't know that much. Like, actually, what's funny is, it was almost scripted in the sense that since the first 4 games were stomps, you got to understand how good both of the teams were at stomping even the other team. And so you saw, like, if one of them was a soul out of control, they were going to completely dominate the others. Then for the last game to be super close and to be narrowly decided was, like, even better, because for someone who didn't know shit about the game, that like, really worked. CSGO, it wasn't just DreamHack, actually. The final of DreamHack was amazing for the Fnatic storyline, but actually CSGO as a tournament circuit was really good, because even though we had all these small tournaments, there was about like 20 of them over the year. And so you had this scenario, right, where NIP had won something ridiculous like 10 times against... I think it was about 8 times they'd won 2-0 over Very Games. And so you're like, okay, well, what...
How many maps did they win in a row? What did they get to?
Oh, 87 and 0, but that was starting last year.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And that was offline as well, from what I remember. Yeah, offline raw results, 87 and 0. So yeah,
that's crazy.
The biggest story for me was, what was amazing was, not only did NIP get overtaken briefly by Very Games, but Very Games actually were beating NIP. Like, it's not like NIP lost to someone else like Virtus Pro and then Very Games beat them. Like, you actually saw like that was a real narrative, but it only happened because you had 20 events, you know. If that had been one tournament like DreamHack, like I say, those narratives would not exist. So hopefully that's a good example of what I tried to talk about at the beginning of the show. Who else was good? League of Legends. People will think because I bagged on the Season 3 World Championship wasn't good. It was actually an entertaining event to watch. Like, because you hadn't seen these teams from different regions play, it was fun. The most fun, actually, in League of Legends was OGN. Because in the Korean League, OGN, in their final, they finally had a final that was like a really close one. It was a full 5 maps between SK Telecom and KT Bullets. It was like the 2 best teams playing, like going right to the limit. And the 5th game had all the plays. That was really awesome to watch. So in general, there have been tons of good moments this year. It's just that, unfortunately, there's so much drama that like it obscures it sometimes. And so that's why I don't even usually wade into the drama shit. But when you come on this show, you have to put your waders on. You have to roll up your shoulders, dig into that shit, and try and find something out of there.
Or just lean on Richard for moral support. He's always in good spirits about the whole esports stuff. You get your
it's just a great industry to work in, James. And when you put a few years in,
God.
you'll
we get to write about games and watch them. It's the best of both worlds.
Oh yeah,
right?
I love both.
All right, let's move on to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, great craziness. So Bitcoin, lots of stories revolving around Bitcoin. Yeah, some of them have to do with drama. But Steven, you've been trading Bitcoin recently, right? So still volatile as crazy or not?
It's actually leveled off a lot over the past week and a half.
You still
But,
think it's going to
the-
crash, though, right? I know.
Well,
you've
right
said that.
now the Chinese government pretty much gave a big fuck you to the Chinese Bitcoin exchanges, where the majority of the volume is still moving, and by January 31st, there will be no more transactions in or out of those exchanges. So I'm waiting. I'm guessing there's going to be something big is going to happen mid to late January when those exchanges get locked down and people have to move all their money out of that. So we'll see what happens then, I guess.
So what'd you think? What'd you guys think of the whole show match thing, or Tola Biscuit having a prize pool that was based on Bitcoin? James,
I
what do you
didn't think anything of it. I was just like, okay, great, well done. I met some guys in Spain that were Bitcoin farmers, and some guy used to be a Bitcoin investor and owned over like £150,000 worth of Bitcoins, and would
Wow,
lend them out to
okay.
people to make more money, and he would like be a loaner. And then they're actually building a farm in Spain where they're like put loads of PCs and farm Bitcoins, and that's what they do. They're Bitcoin guys. So I don't know enough about it. I don't really care about it so much. If you've got a Bitcoin and it goes up to like whatever it goes up to, like almost 100 per Bitcoin or something,
More like
you know,
1,000.
good for you. Or really? Okay,
At
well,
one
sell
point,
it.
yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Anybody?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, okay. So another thing that revolved around it, and I know Richard, you felt strongly about it, was the whole ESEA thing, right? Which I think they
Well,
settled
that-
recently. They settled recently with the.
Yeah, but they still haven't learned. If you
Yeah, I
go
saw
on
it.
Yeah, I
saw
saw
it,
the
I saw
Reddit
it.
post. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go on Reddit today, they are still putting spyware in their client. ESEA are the biggest pieces of shit in
I like
America
how-
right now.
They were fined like $1.5 million on like the $3 million in bitcoins that they ended up scamming people out of. Well, not scamming, but they forced people to mine. It was pretty funny.
I don't know if those are the exact numbers, Stephen. And as a journalist, I wouldn't want to commit to it because I just want to use the recurring phrase as a journalist. Honestly, ESEA are just fucking outrageous. If you put malicious software in your client and don't disclose it, and then you try and pass it off as they did as an April Fool's joke, you are absolutely fucking disgusting. There is
yeah.
no defense of this. The guy LP Kane, as he likes to style himself, he is a fucking cretin. I mean, there's nothing good about him. I don't even know how he got into the position he's in. But he owns the SCA. They have this monopoly, and that was exactly why they elected to exploit their users in the way that they did. When they came over to Europe, they fucked it up. They were roundly laughed out. And I mean, I feel a bit sorry for Torbull, who seems a nice guy, but people shouldn't forget this shit. Like, if you are paying for an ESEA subscription right now, you're part of the bigger esports problem. Like, I'm so sick of hearing about how journalists kill esports, streamers kill esports. You're funding a company that was going to use your computer to mine bitcoins against your knowledge. You're killing esports. People like this need to be driven the fuck out. It's one of the most morally reprehensible things I've heard of in esports history, and it's a fucking shame that people just sort of laugh it off now. You know, like it's funny. Like, we'll talk about Bitcoin.
Well, the public reaction was some of the stupidest. I've never seen a more
Well,
disproportionate
your mate
reaction to a crime.
Lurpus, who of course gets paid by ESEA, was actually very vocal in deflecting the criticism. Quote, "I don't see what the big deal is."
But I mean, what people would say was they would use this logic, okay, that apparently in terms of money, I think something like $3,000 was the total amount that had been mined because it was caught like 2 weeks into mining. I don't forget the numbers, but these are roughly around the right amount, okay? So what people said was, well, that's ridiculous, you know, $1 million fine for stealing 3,000. But what they didn't realize was, obviously, it's not like you took the 3,000 and then stopped and someone found that you stole 3,000. You were in the process of accidentally stealing who knows how much, $1 million. In
Wait.
theory, if it goes on forever,
Was the
you would
final
have stolen.
number? Was the final number really only 3,000?
It was only 3,000.
Yeah,
I
it
thought
wasn't.
it-
It was
I
nowhere
thought
near 3
I thought I
million.
read that there was a lot more that had gone on with that.
I mean, here's the thing.
No, but
Like,
the
a
point
lot-
is, there was like 14,000 PCs it was on. And people also found out, here's something interesting that came out in the court case that ESEA tried to deny, which is something that no one even knew before this happened, was that it turned out there was code within the client, right, where when you just delete the client and uninstall it, it actually remains somehow on your computer. And in theory, the access to your computer from other computers can still be done, almost like a backdoor Trojan type. That was what was going on. And so, yeah, again, they might not have actually been using this for a crime. They might have never. But the way crimes are judged aren't always on that. It's always on, like, what you could have done. And the fact that you got stopped before you did doesn't necessarily mean you get completely scot-free and all that sort of thing. So actually, the things they could have done were way more sinister. So even though a million probably is an overreaction, people don't understand the scale of what could have happened. Like this, if this had been 2 months later, it could have been totally crazy, you know. And I mean, listen, think about this. Forget the bitcoins. Just having access to your PC, okay, Destiny. I'm sure it has like bank information. Probably has stuff that's private that might even be intellectual property you have working on. I mean, I'm probably exaggerating things there. You're probably not working on a novel or something. But you know what I mean? Like in theory, what's potential that they could fuck insane. And so actually, people's underreaction, again, it was the same thing of like wanting to be too cool. Like, who cares about that, man? It's just some bitcoins. Like, no, that's a really big deal, actually. Because if you
I agree. I agree 1,000,000%. I was really surprised that this didn't. I thought that like whoever was in charge of this whole operation like should have been fired. I'm surprised that anybody would do anything with the ESA after this shit.
They can't because they own the company.
The whole company.
Yeah. So what they did was they made the guy who coded their anti-cheat. Which was
that's right. That's right.
It was one of the major reasons why you would use ESEA in the first place. They made him a scapegoat and basically paid him off, and he takes all the blame. And out he goes. And they tried to make it out, and again, quote, this is a quote, it was the actions of a rogue employee. The idea that you would put a Bitcoin miner into the client software based on an April Fool's joke you misunderstood without full permission, you know, like you didn't have permission from your bosses. It's absolutely ridiculous. So
I'm really surprised that wasn't more of a bigger deal. I'm surprised that people weren't like vilifying that like crazy. But
it's unfortunate.
I was in contact. Sorry, I was in contact with the solicitor or the lawyer throughout the entire thing. We were in regular contact talking about it, and you know, it's just one of those things. Like no one was doing any courtside reporting in esports. I tried to do my best with it. It was very difficult, but yeah, it was a massive. You know, there was a payout involved. ESEA came out and made that ridiculous statement saying we're settling, but we don't acknowledge any guilt on our part, which is kind of like Michael Jackson saying that kid who's calling me a nonce. I'm just giving him money, but I'm totally innocent, honest, really, and no one believes. So you know, ESEA just, I mean, it's really repulsive, really.
Basically, the reason people didn't get mad actually is because it didn't benefit them too. What happens is in North America, there wasn't anything like ESEA. That's why it's like being a license to print money, because it's like basically you don't have matchmaking tools in 1.6 CS.
Yeah,
so they provided this awesome service, and it's true, right? If I was there, I probably would have paid for it if I'd have been in North America, right? Just to be able to play without having a team and be able to find a CS game like that. So most people who wanted to continue that and obviously didn't actually have anything happen to them were just like, no, it's not a big deal. Like, let's not make a big deal. Let's all just don't rock the boat, guys. We want to play on the service. I can understand it, but it's a bit morally reprehensible.
All right. Well, let's I think let's wrap for all the segments and maybe take a few questions and wrap the show. Sound good?
We get a break before questions.
It's only been 5 hours. You know, let's dance for these appreciative cunts in Twitch TV chat. Like, shine the shoes, jazz hands, whatever you want.
Can we do a break?
Let's do a break. Let's do a break before we do Q&A.
Call us retards for 5 hours. Brilliant.
All right, we'll be right back, guys.
Fuck 'em.
Hold on.
Oh, god damn it! Arctos is streaming. You know, one thing. You know,
Alright, we're going live.
No, not yet. Not
Okay,
yet.
okay,
I
no,
just
no,
wanna
no.
say one thing real fast. What? Wait, no. I just want to say one quick thing. Can I? No, off there,
air.
off there, off there. One thing that Yeah.
Oh my god,
We're
that was
back.
the dirtiest sex story of
Oh,
my
You
Bro,
said she was only
Justin. Man.
13 or
Steve.
14 years old. That was so fucked
Oh,
up.
he was in France, so it's okay.
He's in France. That's okay. Oh boy.
Believe it, man.
Oh,
Bowman
boy.
deleted those tweets, right?
And that's
Oh,
why
I was
Control
reading
made him leave the team, right?
transcripts from Stefano's upcoming biography. What are you talking about?
Another Kickstarter, man. But okay, so let's do some questions here. First question we were talking a little bit about was a quote about Garry Kasparov, the world champion chess player. He recently tweeted about how people won't be playing League of Legends in 100 years, but people will still be playing chess. So the question
What an
is,
astute statement that is as well.
I
This
know,
guy,
right,
He really
right.
knows what he's talking about.
exactly.
People won't be playing this Pokemon game in 10 years, guys. Come on. Whereas chess will still exist. Like, yeah, okay, buddy. Well done.
exactly.
Pogs, will they be around in 200 years, Kasparov? What about Pogs? Digimon?
So the question is, do you think StarCraft or esports in general will survive for 100 years? If so, what will competitive games look like?
It's like the dumbest question. Like, no one knows what the Earth is going to look like, even fucking 15 years from now. Even 10 years out is almost impossible to say.
Esports
Like, where...
will
To be fair, we could be in like a post-apocalyptic Mad Max type
Yeah,
world in
I
20
mean-
years. I don't know if esports will survive that, if that's what you're asking. And also,
Obviously-
even if that does happen, I support some Korean guy in the post-apocalyptic world over Desro.
God.
I mean, in a
Oh
post-apocalyptic
my
world, the
God, that's
radiation
a-
wouldn't have to
that's
go
a
that
good
far to
body
completely
marks,
destroy, like, the Korean dude over Desert.
Why do you not like Desro?
I know. What do you
Yeah,
hate
yeah,
on
yeah,
Mark,
what's your
man?
problem,
Mark's a
man?
good guy, dude.
It's just my example, you know.
God.
No, he's your example for everything shit.
I know.
That's why I get the impression you don't like him. So
Actually, I don't
Hey,
know him as a person. I'm talking
Whoa,
about
let's turn down the Desro hate. Turn down the Desro hate. What the
Exactly.
fuck?
Desro,
But I
man.
like
He's a
Desro.
bro.
He's wicked, man. He's a great guy.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Terrible
to answer
player,
the
though.
question.
I'm
No,
not
but I
crazy.
just want to know why
Yeah.
Duncan doesn't like him.
Yeah.
God, you've got to have
Hold
a
on.
reason. You've
Oh.
got to have a reason.
Because he's the ultimate example of the
Alright, no,
entitled NA
alright.
pro who will practice once you guys give him all of his salary, fly him to Korea, give him foot robs like Flash gets or something, make sure Flash can't look at his monitor while he's playing in case he steals his soul or something. Who the fuck knows? He's one of these people where he wants
I think
everything
he's
set up before he'll even lift
I think
one
he's
finger.
a little different now.
If you want an
Not
analogy
necessarily
about
true.
Desro, okay, here's the analogy that you need to know. Think about what I just described about his playing career there, and then see all those interviews where he explains to you how he's on this ketogenic diet and how he's going to lose weight, and then like 3 months later, you look at him, he looks identical. He's still talking about this diet. He's like, it's the same analogy, but he's using his
What
weight
the
of his
fuck?
plate.
Okay,
Alright,
hold on,
he-
hold on,
that-
hold on,
you're
hold on,
talking
hold on,
about
hold on,
shit
stop,
from
stop.
years
First of all-
ago.
First of
My
all, you
God.
can flip this just as easily to make any random Korean look like a fucking retard, okay? You have a Korean who is willing to drop everything, go to try to be a programmer, which is the equivalent
Oh
of a
my
fucking random
goodness.
16-year-old black kid in the United States going, I'm dropping school to be an NBA player, right? You would call that kid fucking retarded, okay? But just earlier you were defending Korean people who want to drop everything to go play video games, you know, like the big boys.
Here's the difference
So
between the two.
well, no, hold on, I'm not even done yet. Then you've got these Korean pros that look at the Western model, right, with absolutely zero fucking understanding of how business or advertising or marketing or anything having to do, because Keswa held their fucking hands like children for the past fucking 10 years of their esports existence, right? So these Koreans see the Western models, they try to do the streaming thing, right? They turn on streams, they blare shitty K-pop at a lower bit rate than like the My Free Cam streams. They show replays, and then they show like, you want to talk about Marine King Prime, that it's sad that he didn't make any money? Yeah, it was kind of sad that he didn't make any money, but his stream was fucking disgusting. He would off-race, he would show replays, it was shitty quality, shitty bitrate, shitty music, and shitty games on his stream. Like, calm down. Like, when you start to criticize the fuck out of some people, Korean people are far from fucking perfect. Far from perfect.
Let's be
Maybe.
clear. Let's be clear with Desro. Desro is more of a streamer entertainer these days than he is a player. His playing is like making it into WCS these days is like bonus and helps his streaming career. So it's you're talking about Desro from maybe 2 or 3 years ago or something like that. All right?
Yeah.
So
Look, man,
it's
Desro's
like-
a great
it's
guy.
different.
Like,
It's a different thing
he's
now.
a really nice guy. I like.
Let's just
him.
leave it at that
And I-
and
and
start
I-
talking about
I
it.
think
We'll
it's-
agree to disagree. James, you wanted to answer the actual question.
I hate everything about
Jay.
I think the
Jay.
great thing about esports is because even though we don't have like a chess or a football that's like set in stone and just is there, we have genres of games. And when StarCraft 2 will go out as the RTS, there will be a new one and a new community, and the same with an FPS 1v1 or FPS team game. And so I see it having a really longevity, and it will keep evolving. And these genres that people become used to, similar to that, they become used to football, will stick around, but it'll be a different game developer, different game constantly, and esports will continue to evolve, and it'll be great. And Desiree, what a fat cunt! I fucking hate that. No, I like. I like Desiree.
God.
Sorry,
Oh my
I just
God,
I
me
don't
and
know
Sarah
where that
got the
came
fucking-
from.
Hey, didn't
Drop
it
your ass
die
from this
of-
call. Jesus.
Didn't that happen? I'm gonna write that up. Next Land of Broken Promises, Desro's diet. That's what's gonna make it. I seriously don't.
Hold him accountable, bro.
Desiree seems.
Hold him
I can
accountable.
understand. I can understand why a lot of people dislike him and a lot of people like him. He's quite polarizing. I like the guy.
I'm an asshole, and I find that personally offensive. So.
Oh, by the way, he's also a literal example of someone who went to Korea and refused to apply himself while then complaining, and then came back after being given handouts of a gone foreigner house, etc. So this is
Again,
someone where it's not someone I picked at random. It's
it's-
a perfect example of everything that's wrong with NA.
You're naming like every foreigner that's gone to Korea, though.
I can't
No,
believe I just
Naniwa?
said that, and you're still
Naniwa?
gone.
I
back
know.
to
I know.
Desiree.
See what you
Naniwa
did.
has one exception,
God.
but Naniwa also
Sase?
slacks. What did the fuck has Sase done recently?
Dude, he's practiced
In
more
Taiwan,
hours in StarCraft 2
Where
than
are
like
the
you and
results?
50 people.
Yes, but where are the results from it?
No, he's a retard that he doesn't enter competitions. He practices and doesn't enter competitions, which doesn't make any sense to me. But he still at least
Nani-
practices.
Naniwa has hardcore periods of slacking. Naniwa's not motivated unless there's like an event coming
That's
up.
not true. That's not true.
Oh, dude, I fucking saw it. I was in the same fucking house with him. He watched Korean dramas the entire fucking time I was there.
When was this?
Naniwa, I don't know, fucking a year ago. If Naniwa
Not a
ask
year,
any pro,
more than
no,
a
don't, don't take my words for it. Ask any other pro. You can go on Twitter right now and ask. If there's not like a major upcoming event, and he's not majorly motivated, Naniwa will go through periods of slacking
No.
hard. Fucking
Maybe he
work.
does. But he also, here's the thing, he also does what Sasa does. He'll go to Korea and practice for a month, then choose not to attend an event, even though he's been practicing the whole month. That's the opposite of what every other pro does.
I mean, I guess, but I like every foreigner that's gone to Korea. Like Idra went to Korea. There's been countless other like foreigners that
It's an
have gone to
exception.
Korea. Idra's an exception.
No, Nanawa is an exception. He's practiced
Oh,
way
yeah,
more
I-
than those other people.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree. Nani was the exception. I'm just saying that going to Korea doesn't automatically make you good, and there's a lot of foreigners, not just Tesla, that have gone to Korea and didn't exactly make it to the point that they'd want to be at.
No, but the difference is they're all at least half decent at the game. So I picked the person who has no results whatsoever, but still is complaining in an entitled manner as the example of the scene that has that same characteristic.
I guess I can't name all of the.
All right,
It's
let's
like-
move. Let's
Yeah,
move
yeah.
on. Let's move on. We're not gonna. I don't think anybody is gonna
They
win
went
this
to Korea
argument
just
here.
No, like so fucking hard. Like how many foreigners from Team Liquid or EG?
What's the
some
next
amount
question?
Yeah, let's go. Let's move on to the next question.
of it.
This is never gonna end. This
Yeah, I was gonna
sucks.
say, we did just spend 20 minutes calling Desro fat, right? Did that just happen? Did that?
All right, everyone.
Talking about him after 30 seconds. You keep bringing him up, mate.
Everyone, if you could be anyone in esports for a day, who would it be and why?
Oh, my
James.
Scarlet?
I would want to
Jay.
be Thorin because
What?
I could spend.
God. Who
Because
said
after
Scarlet? Who said Scarlet?
Doran said Scarlet.
I wanna
James, who would you
more
be?
empathetic. I actually want to know what it's like.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that would be interesting.
This cannot be happening.
to
This
be that
actually-
good of a third player. To keep
Oh,
in mind
no,
that that
James
good
seems
before that.
serious.
Anybody in
Oh, to be
esports
the best
for
foreign
a
Zerg,
day.
obviously, Destiny. What were you thinking of?
That's what I just
I
said.
don't-
I'm agreeing with you.
No, totally. There's no other way you could even interpret that.
Oh God.
Are we gonna answer any of these questions seriously?
Ask me a question.
I'll
mate.
answer it seriously. Just let me know when we've got past that shit.
I would
I'll
be for a day in esports. I would be Sundance. Just
Really?
not because I want
Okay.
to be. It's because I just want to know what the fuck they are thinking half the time over in that
Oh.
company, and I want to sit in their boardroom meetings, and I kind of want to be able to have Sundance's normal kind of like monologue going on in my head when I was Sundance for a day, just to kind of analyze it. Be like, okay, well, I'm thinking this. What's Sundance thinking? Fucking hell, that's just weird. And then, I think that would be interesting because I that's the company that I really don't understand that much is MLG. Like, I just don't get them. Like, You've got like Adam going mental on Reddit, going, "Look at me, aren't I awesome?" And then you've got them getting horny over Dota 2. Then you had all the MLG stuff with StarCraft and the paywall. And now you've got them building a, kind of competitor
Streaming
Twitch
service.
TV. And I mean, fuck, I want to be Sundance for a day, just like a
All
learning
right. Okay.
experience.
So Sundance, Rich.
I'd want to be too good. Because I know it must be nice to just know you can get away with anything in esports and routinely do. Be it transgender hate, calling out. That's a joke, by the way. I know James isn't into that. It's a joke between friends. Yeah. But like seriously, like I think you're the one guy in esports who can actually say what the fuck he wants and get away with it, and I'd love to be that guy. So.
Oh, thank you. It's great being me.
Also, but also you're really good looking and you've got everything else going on.
Oh my goodness.
Including herpes.
Oh, it's either that or it's Desro. Desro post successful diet, one of the two.
Desro
You want to be
after
someone
the
that doesn't
apocalypse.
exist.
Someone doesn't exist.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
Be Harry
Thorin.
awesome, mate. Set your heights higher.
Don't care about. I can't even believe you hate Desro that much, man. Like, what is going?
He's just a throwaway line, but you guys made it into a thing now, and so it's become a thing.
Oh
my
god.
Life, bro. It's like life.
That's the one thing that's gonna come from it. Steven,
Sure.
any
Do
que-
you want to be?
You wanna
Yeah,
answer?
I'd be too good.
Steven, you want to answer?
I don't know. I would want to be either Duncan or Richard so that I could have their life for one day and then come back to mine and never be upset about anything again after existing in the turbulent mind of either of these two incredibly troubled individuals. Holy shit.
Why not? Why wouldn't you want to be in control or Idra?
I don't want to be in control or Idra.
I don't know if there's any.
I'd love to be Idra, but
I'm trying to think who
what
I'd
fix this
want to
line.
be.
Actually put him on the right tracks and then leave his body. I reckon I could fix that guy. There's only a few little tweaks he needs. A Buddhist map, maybe a couple of friends, knitting circle. I think we could get this guy's life back together. Just give me a chance. All I'm asking for is 24 hours.
He's
Oh my
Hours
god.
in Idra. That would be a movie I'd watch. Like,
24 hours.
24 hours as Idra.
Idra's body.
Takes over
Oh my
Idra's body for 24 hours. Fights him up to like knitting groups. He like starts like helping homeless people and just finds all these joys. It's kind of like Groundhog Day when he like, and then
Oh,
eventually
totally.
when he
Oh
comes
my
back,
God.
he's just like the happiest guy in the world, and he's all got like Zen and stuff. That'd be awesome.
What else to ask here?
Oh man, I tell you, no, actually, this has really excelled itself, Chris. In terms of discourse and everything, it's been brilliant. I love that.
That's what it's about today.
What's Steve's,
No,
Just let it go,
really-
man. I just let it go. But I couldn't completely let it go.
How
You guys
far
were
away
just
do you guys live in the same state as each other? Where are you at right now, Richard? Are you in the States or are you
He's in the
overseas?
UK, man.
I'm in a place. I'm in a place called Birmingham. I don't know.
Oh shit. Okay, never mind then. The next event, you guys can hook up with each other and it'll be we'll videotape.
No,
it.
I don't get me wrong. I after a show like this, I don't like to be alone, ideally, but I'm just gonna have to muscle through. But yeah, I don't get.
I'll try to play another show match with In Control and make it last a perfect amount of time next time, right? You can get another.
Here's a question for Duncan. Big fan of your work. The new series, Reflections, that you're working on has been great so far. My question is whether you'll still interview non-NA, non-League of Legends players, or will future interviews be mainly them?
No, in theory, for that series, the thing about it is it's just basically I used to do a series called Grilled, okay?
Yeah.
They were like long-form interviews, but the actual only metric was it was just anyone I thought was interesting who was at events I went to. And so actually I've done Richard Lewis, I've done James Harding, I've done all these people, so you can see like the limit. I'm willing to sink very low here. But no, the whole point is it's just who's at the events I go to, you know. So yeah, I've done so far in the new series, which is the one I've had to rebrand for On Gamers. I've only done League of Legends people from NA, except actually today I released the European one. But that's just because that's the event I went to recently, you know. Like, if possible, I'm actually going to try like I'm even going to spend some of my own money and go to like fucking Finland and interview like a Quake World player there, who I'm not going to get any hits for. I'm not going to get any money to do that, but I just want the series to be the same thing, like people I think are interesting, and then long form interviews with them. So in theory, they'll be with everyone. But obviously, it's harder to do like Quake people because they're not at events anymore because it's not in esports that much.
Hurry, are you interviewing?
No. He doesn't live in Finland anyway.
No, he lives in Netherlands now.
Yeah.
All right, here's one from Stasio. Everybody knows Stasio. How can there be so many UK people who know how to run events and do them right, but UK doesn't have any big events?
That's why I know that NA is this pathetic scene, because UK has all the same advantages. Huge tech sector, that should be all the sponsors right there. History of events going back years and years in big venues, Ministry of Sound, these massive arenas, O2 Arena, all these huge things, all this money. Loads of people play games in the UK, by the way. League of Legends, COD, all these things. Same as NA, all the same advantages, and yet we fuck it up even worse than you guys, where I just did a list for the top 100 CS 1.6 players of all time. Not a single UK player made the list, and yet they have easy access to travel to European events. Every advantage they fucked up. That's how I know these are the problems, because I identified them in the UK a long time ago. Then I saw them as similar problems in the Western scene in general, but NA especially.
I think within the UK, it's always about the industry leaders that kind of can change stuff and build the industry. I just think the industry leaders in UK events, which is mainly multiplayer, are pretty clueless when it comes to esports, and they know how to like build a event, but they have like as much, I don't know, they have no vision basically of where to take the industry. And you have to consider it's not just an event industry, it's heavily an entertainment industry, and you'd think England would be really good at entertainment, but for some reason multiplayer, just entertainment wise, rock bottom. So they're certainly yeah, they are.
Well, you've certainly outgrown them. I might have to work with them in the future. You never know.
Well, I mean, I like the guys, but I just don't. It's like I can't bring myself to go to a I-Series. And
did you hear about what they did to Joe? Did you hear about
No.
that? How they didn't pay him. Right, now here's the thing. Joe did some casting for multiplay, and what happened was he got wasted, and because it's Joe. And he went back to the hotel, and he said he fell asleep with a beer can, and it spilt over him, and it ruined the sheets, and they demanded a professional cleaner. But some other people say he might have wet the bed, and they had to get a professional cleaner in, so multiplay withheld money from him.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay.
it makes me really sad either way. Like, no one wins in that story. But yeah, but if it is true, fuck multiplay either way, whichever one.
All right. Nick Cage asks, why is the R-StarCraft community so focused on headlines, rumors, Twitter, drama, and announcements? Other communities have much more VOD, strategy discussion, and just more constructive info about
because
the
the
games
only
themselves.
interesting thing about StarCraft the game is the people that play it right now. The other games are actually more interesting.
It's not actually that good a game. That's the big problem.
Yeah,
And most
that-
people
it is a
don't care
good
about
game.
the game
Well,
itself.
How much of it is just, like when it first started, there were a lot of strategy guides and VODs.
Yeah,
and-
but it was awesome
and-
when it first started.
Can I
But
know?
now
But
it
that's-
doesn't evolve.
You-
The problem is that you can't just play a few games of StarCraft for fun, because it's not a game that's designed to be fun. With
Well, it
League
used
of
to
Legends or any MOBA, you can find 4 other friends, you can go in, you can fuck around and jerk off and have fun for a long time playing it. And anybody can do that and play 1 or 2 games a week and always be bad and always have fun with friends. With StarCraft, that's not a game you can do. No kid wants to I've got some free time today, let's go play a ladder game. That's not fun. Will you get in a 1v1 deathmatch with another person? Some people find that fun, but more people would find it more enjoyable to kind of goof off and you just play games with a team, That's why there are always going to be more casual fans that are willing to discuss even, you call it strategy, but really, the strategy depth that most people get into on those online forums is really, 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 really shallow. But you'll always find more people that are willing to talk about the game because more people play it, because it's more fun to play, because you can play it with friends and you just goof off and have fun. You can't really do that with an RTS.
Dude, I played StarCraft. For
you host
StarCraft 2.
several shows.
No. Before,
you're not the average person.
no, Steven. Before all this stuff, I played
know, but even
StarCraft 2
so,
in the
you're-
beta
you're-
for a year and a half with my friends.
Chanman,
With my
Chanman,
What?
please, you're Asian. Of course you play StarCraft.
well, I played it with
about
my
everyone
friends
else.
socially for a
Yeah,
year.
they're Asian too.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
we all
that's true.
know.
They are Asian too, but the point is that we played it casually. So my question is has the game just evolved
Where
to
are
a
they
point?
at now, though?
I mean, were they?
How
were
long
they
did they
not?
play it casually? How long did they play it casually?
We played. Dude, we seriously played that game for. We played StarCraft 2 casually, like 2v2, 3v3, 4v4 for like a year. Okay, and
Well, I'm really happy for you, but that seems to be the exception because I had a lot of friends coming out of Brood War, and none of them played StarCraft 2 for very long. Like, a lot of them enjoyed it with me for maybe like a month or two. Like, we were really hyped when it came out. But otherwise, the allure of the team games and the never updating map pool and the shitty, weird kind of fucking maps you were forced to play over 2v2, 3v3, and I don't even know if they've ever
yeah,
changed.
but
the
those are
single map
that's definitely on a more skilled. Yeah, you were talking about players that are more hardcore than probably we were when we first started.
I'm just saying,
And
like, the general idea of is it fun or not, you know?
Well, the issue what I'm trying to get at.
You got a forum, like, let's say you got a forum for there's one game and it's called throw the ball across the room, okay? And then you've got another game and it's called run into the kitchen with a friend. Both of you grab a steak knife and try to kill each other, right? The first game is always going to have way more people who are interested talking about different ways to throw the ball because everybody would do that. If you're in a room, you just fucking throw a ball to somebody, it's fun. But the other game, fucking nobody wants to run into the kitchen and try to stab someone else with a knife to death. It's inherently not as much fun as the other game. Like a MOBA, where you just goof off and fucking play is more entertaining.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you, Steven, but I just think that the current state of which StarCraft, even at the bronze level, has gotten to, is very unfun for any new person because they're just going to get six-pulled and shit. Before, when I was playing bronze, I was like nuking people and having some fun with crazy shit. You know, building like one battle cruiser and killing somebody. You know, that kind of shit just doesn't happen anymore in bronze. You're just getting either smurfed or you're somebody just fucking around with bronzies and smurfing people, or just you're getting six-pulled constantly. So I mean, is that the big issue with some of this too? There's no doubt that MOBAs are more accessible, but I think that StarCraft, the current state, isn't as accessible as it used to be either because of meta, where just people fucking around with the lower level folks. Thoughts? Anybody agree or no?
No, I think that's a great
The other
answer.
thing is, part of the problem, this has been mentioned a million times, by the way, is that I used to always think, right, because I've never been interested in soap operas as television, and I would look down on that, like, who the fuck would watch a soap opera? It's boring, you know, it's just stupid stories. And I thought most males agreed with me because they would also look down on that sort of thing. But I've realized all that happens is humans in general, I'm like not a normal human in this sense, as you haven't guessed, but most normal humans have a desire to like know socially about people's lives, like what's going on and what's the drama. And so the way men take in the same drama need and fill that hole is through sports drama. And that's why everyone hates a certain team and hates a certain player and, oh, what a cunt he is whining, and I hope he shouldn't have got that contract. It's just a soap opera, but for men, it's like theater in that sense. And so that's the same reason why, like in basketball, I'll give you the example, okay? Before LeBron James won a ring, there were people who, like, it gave them, like, pleasure inside to know that this really awesome athlete hadn't won, like, an NBA championship, who was really good and probably was going to win eventually anyway. Which is, like, how could that even give you, like, pleasure? But it's because they just got off on the drama of, like, oh, I'm going to say he's shit. No, yeah, everyone thinks he's really good, but I'm so edgy. Like, that's how people enjoy StarCraft. They just love the fucking drama. That's why the whole topic we've made out here, right? The one lesson to take away from this for aspiring people in the industry is just to learn to navigate the circle jerk. And if you know the direction it's going in, ride that mother like one of those guys in like Waikiki Beach who goes on the 50-foot wave. And if you fall off, you die. But if you make it, you're like a legend. That's how you have to navigate esports on Reddit. It's just bullshit, dude.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
I can't hear you, man. I'm too busy riding this wave. What are you talking about? Down there at the beach.
All right, do you want to, let's see, can you guys talk about Bomber leading StarTale? Generally more Western, more foreign, the StarCraft scene has been getting in terms of popularity, not skill, so all the top players are still Korean.
Yeah,
I heard that the reason why I heard that I actually
so many GSL champions and yet they don't have one of the best players there. Yeah,
there was actually an article that just recently came out where Bomber left StarTale because StarTale was making room in its financial statement in order to be able to hire on Destro. Did you hear about that, Duncan?
Yeah, my bad.
God.
But
well, SK just released MC too.
Target weight, and then he's going to be allowed in.
So we are still talking about Desro's diet. I did tune out for a bit.
Why was I talking about his diet?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, what are you talking
That's alright then. Cool. Well, I just said the word Desro and weight loss, and that's cool.
Said he's going back to
Just
Korea to
sounds
join
like a good
StarTale.
idea.
All right, anything else
What's the
here?
question? Sorry. Oh, that was really sad. I'm sorry. That was my statement. It's sad that
Some
Bomber
guy
left.
keeps asking when I'm going to make Bloodline Champions 2, and he's been doing it for about 3 hours. Can I answer him? Because I feel that if we don't answer him and he turns off
You
the
just
stream,
tell him
he's
you're
going
not going
to
to.
stab me in the kitchen with a knife. I don't know where I
Well,
got
just-
that one.
Just
He's gonna
tell
make
him-
it straight after he makes that FPS game Reborn he's been making.
Yeah.
The order
Hey,
goes Good
I-
Studio Reborn, Bloodlines Champions 3, and then what, like StarCraft 5 or something?
Yeah, I showed Richard Lewis Reborn at Home Story Cup.
He did.
Is that
he
a nickname
actually
for your
did
dick?
that.
Is that why
He-
it's growing and you want everyone to be really interested in it?
He's just waiting for the right time to release it into the circle jerk. He's waiting for the
Exactly.
circle jerk to be moving in his direction before he can insert it.
I'm still climbing the wave. No, but in all seriousness,
Climbing the wave. Is that a new
in all
show?
seriousness,
He did show me a working version of it at Home Story. It was
Yeah.
very good. It was like Quake, but not quite as good looking.
Well,
Yeah,
I've
well,
always wanted him anyways,
have-
you know.
artwork finished. But basically, my goal in esports is to have a game studio, and essentially what I'll be doing is to try and take over the world, like Alex Garfield, but smarter than him because he focuses on silly things. Is that I've got an investment meeting coming up January 7th, and I've had two before, and so I've asked for £250,000, and then I can still make the game without it. If I get it, it's going to make it super easy to finish the game, etc. Hopefully, and then once I make one game, I end up just hiring people within esports, putting them together with people who can do artwork and tech and stuff, and use all the kind of esports systems we design, like tournament systems, ladder systems, and implement them with all the different games. And if StarCraft shit in 2 years' time, I'll replace it and hire people like Apollo and others to help me like make the game. And then I want to, if I can, revisit like a Bloodline Champions kind of game. But this is like when I'm 40, so essentially it's one step at a time. But if I can do it, I will, and that's my goal. So, you know, I have dreams, but they sound stupid to a lot of people, but I still chase them.
They don't sound stupid to us. Too good.
All right, last question.
And I'm going to
Knife-
lose some weight. No, I'm going to and work out.
Last question by Knifel Yo. Do you think teams need to be more tough on the players? You'll hear players say that they haven't been practicing and so on. And in the beginning of a tournament, it feels strange, sends their team or sending them, and so on. Also, that playing is their job. This is a big problem in the foreigner scene. And when you hear guys complaining about skill gaps between Korea and foreigners, I can't even read this. When you have guys like Nano who practice a lot and can
sounds
complain.
Can we just have a question that isn't shit? Because
I'm
You can't just
reaching,
fresh
man.
up-
I'm
No,
trying, man. I'm trying.
listen to you attempt to read that as
I can't even read it, dude.
This guy is fucking 13 years old. He's probably Bulgarian. It's his first attempt to do
Dude,
this in a
I'm
public forum.
trying to make
His
him
heroes-
feel good. I'm trying to make
His
him feel
esports
good.
heroes are on a stream, and you're making fun of him now.
Oh well.
I don't have to answer a 13-year-old Bulgarian's question. So can we just get a question off a human being? Can we do that? Is that?
Oh my god.
I'm not even joking. Like fuck that. What is that?
Dude, there's nothing left, man. So I think we might wrap the show here.
Don't wrap it on me being racist to 13-year-old Bulgarians.
All right, here's one. What did you think of Nanywa versus Scarlet Show match?
There we go. So generic. That makes me sick. It's
Hey,
not-
man, you know what I mean? Oh, here's one. Here's one. Here's one. Okay, no.
Are we
Here's
allowed to use either the words Asperger's or
Oh,
autism to describe anyone's post-game behavior?
Okay. Can we just say that we had the best of both worlds in that game and end the show there? That'd be awesome. Let's do that.
All right, that sounds good. That sounds good. All right, let's do some.
Terrible question.
What?
I'm gonna pick a real question.
Oh
Just
god.
fuck-
I thought the games were good. There you go.
I thought the games were good.
I've got a question from someone. He says, "Can you ask for him why the fuck he's wearing a scarf and winter coat inside his house?"
Where was this? Is this not on here?
Just about
No,
this
it's
before you-
on my Skype.
Oh shit.
Why are you wearing?
Because I don't have loads of money, so I can't heat right all the way to the top of my house. I live in the north of England, and so I'd rather wear a coat than pay like £3,000 extra.
Oh, okay.
My brother does this when he comes to my house. He's like, he turns all the heating down, and he's like, "If you're cold, put a fucking jumper on."
Here's one from TLS Overrated. Why do the British in StarCraft 2 always try to get by with shock jockeying?
Right. Well, yeah. That's
Think of
actually a
something
good question.
shocky.
I've just been accused of saying that all Bulgarians are unhuman and gypsies. So I don't know. Like, do I need to make an apology like before I go to bed? Is that how we do it? Or
All right. Are you want to
James,
answer?
James, you've been in this position before when you've made hateful comments about minority groups. How did you cope with it?
I don't know. Like, to be honest, with like shock jockeying, I find that people
Don't avoid it. Oh my god, that is so.
Let him
awkward.
answer. Let him answer.
Yeah,
no,
but you
like
have
I don't know why people like if it's just the UK guys that do it, but I do it because I enjoy watching provoking a reaction and making people think, and I don't necessarily believe sometimes what I say. I just say it because I'm bored. And I get
That's
I
the reality,
care.
guys. Is that's just who they are. I mean, it just happens that all these.
I don't think there's many UK shock jockeys. I think I would probably be the closer one. I don't think Total Biscuit is.
He's not that.
You have to realize, too good, they actually are counting me in this. Like, they think
I know. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like this who they are.
Like some Korean guy's entire life, like every game you ever played, and then he won the next game 2-1. Like, I'm like the least provocative person ever, except when I come on these shows, and then people make like that's the characterization of your whole career is what you said that one time on Twitter.
I'll tell you this, right? This is ages ago, back when I had a real job before the esports thing, I helped set up a university in Teesside back when we were converting from polytechnics. And one of the first cultural exchanges we did when we had students over from foreign countries was from Bulgaria. And they came over to Middlesbrough. This is absolutely true. And they were like, said to me, like, how can you live here?
Oh, God. All right.
No, what do you mean? And they went, well, we like to go out and play tennis and stuff in our breaks. So what all you guys go out and do is drink and fight. And I was like, yeah, but we can't afford tennis courts. But yeah, the Bulgarians were cool guys, man. Like, I don't hate Bulgarians. Like, they're better than people from Middlesbrough. I'm from Middlesbrough.
All right, that's. I think that's a good sign that we should wrap right there. So no more questions. Let's wrap. Do shout outs. Show. What do we got? We got almost 5.5 hours. Hopefully, you viewers are satisfied with our last show of 2013, and since we're not having a show next week, because we had to do like 2 in 1 here, but I wanted to thank Richard, Thorin, and Too Good, and obviously Destiny each and every week for being part of the show and having some great discussions. But you guys want to do some shout outs at this point? Thank yous, anything? Richard, you want to start?
I will definitely start. I want everyone to remember that it was on a Climbing the Ladder where Robert Owen made a 9/11 joke. And it was really inappropriate. So nothing I have said is that bad. Please don't use your awesome pitchforks to have me fired tomorrow. I stayed up and entertained you fuckers against my will for like 6
it's
hours.
late over there, or it's early.
Serious.
4:30.
It's like 2:30 here, and I've been drinking the entire time because you said that's what you wanted. I danced.
I said we.
I danced for you, and this is how you treat me.
I said you could dance. It wasn't necessarily going to be a drunk Unfiltered.
Land of bullshit. That's what it is. If I dance for you guys, you got to give me something back, man. You can't get me fired because I said something about Bulgarians. Let's just pretend it didn't happen. Let's not make any threads about it on Reddit. Let's keep Richard Lewis in esports. He's great. Okay, let's do that. So yeah, that's my final thoughts, man. Oh, and Desro, I was totally against all that diet shit. You're a great dude.
So say.
What is this, man?
No, don't.
Come on. Okay,
What is this?
my shout outs, thank you. Holy fuck. I would like to give a shout out to if you wonder how ChanMan gets me to the show all the time, he contacts me via my Ting fucking cell phone. If you go to destiny.gg/Ting, you can sign up for an awesome cell phone. You get $25
I did
off.
get something. Shit.
I have the funny donger meme at the top, so you know what I understand you as an audience. Yeah, check that shit out. Also, if you're wondering how I mean, my head isn't super smooth, but my face is so smooth. It's because I use razors. You can go to destiny.gg/shave. You can buy some fucking cheap ass razors that are fucking awesome from Dollar Shave Club. They're delivered to your door every fucking month, so you don't even have to go outside. And thanks
that's a good thing.
That's a good thing, yeah.
You don't have to go outside.
You don't have to go outside, so you don't have to turn my stream off. You never know when you might miss the magic, right? What if they were outside right now shopping for razors, and you had to miss these VODs that ChanMan's probably going to delete so he doesn't get in trouble, right? So that shit's
You're on
important.
YouTube.
And Phoenix, thanks for the mice and the mouse pads, and hopefully the keyboard's coming up soon. You can check that out on my website too. Oh my goodness! And thanks to ChanManV for having us here. Thanks to Thorin and the other guy and the other dude. Too Good, James, and Richard Louis for being on here too.
Thanks a lot.
All right, so I'm going to continue
Steve.
having our guests do shoutouts. James, you want to do shoutouts? Thank yous.
Just thanks for having me on. Not a shout out, but like, since you guys, like, everyone seems to be wrapped up in what the community thinks of them on how they respond to their work and stuff, I'm going to give some personal advice that I go by. Basically, right? When I'm on the internet and I do stuff and people say they like it, that's cool, I go, sweet, cool, thanks, right? When people on the internet see me do stuff and they go, this guy's a dick, or I don't like this guy, I go, that's interesting, this guy doesn't like me. Sucks to be him, because he basically has to watch me. And at the end of the day, if he doesn't like me and I met him in real life, I probably wouldn't like that guy, because, you know, why would I like somebody that doesn't like me? I don't want him as my friend, so I don't give a fuck. And that's how I just get by, because that makes everything so much easier. So give less of a fuck. And
if only
like
we could all
people that
slide
like
into
you.
this blissfully narcissistic solipsism that you've encompassed there, James, then I think
Yes,
we'd all be doing pretty well.
It's a lot of weird living, but it's worked out.
Weird living.
I'm very happy. So, cheers to me. Shout out.
I've
to,
already had people
narcissism.
message me on Skype saying, "Why do you hate Bulgarians?" This is actually
Okay,
happening.
oh, come on. Oh, my
Wait,
This
why
is
would anyone
actually
ask that?
Why
Do
do
you
you
even
keep
need
bringing it up? Of course it's going to keep happening.
Do you even need a
Jeez.
reason to hate Bulgarians? Like, can we be real for a moment?
Thank you, Stephen, for bailing me out of this. I love you.
All right, Thorin,
Real.
any shout-outs or thank yous you want to do?
Shout out to Bulgaria, Bulgaria, for watching the show. And thank you.
On gamers win again.
Yeah.
On games.
And I also actually signed up for Ting because Destiny told me to. So I signed up with the code Destiny Takes Dumb Risks. And actually, they sent me a text when I joined the service or pictures of his penis. And much like the affordable and useful service, it was better than I expected.
Oh, God.
And so thanks for having me on the show. Peace.
Why would you
Middle East.
realize
Ooh,
that
political.
Tink's not available outside of the United States? So now everybody knows that the
Oh.
only reason you got those pictures is because I sent them to you willingly. How does it make you feel, Thor?
I've given it away now.
All right, before my shout-outs, I just remember I forgot something. I was going to get everybody's opinion in the
Jesus
stream
Christ.
chat on just the shirts. We're having unfiltered shirts made because a lot of people have been
Okay.
asking for it. So
Yeah.
vote on
Oh,
it.
shit.
I just posted a straw poll. Go ahead and vote on it, guys, and then just take a look. A and B. Just vote on A and B, which one you like, and then I'll
You
let
should
guys
make
know.
unfiltered underwear that's like transparent, right? Get it unfiltered.
right where the circle is. Right.
Yeah, that'd be fucking
For women?
hilarious.
Yeah.
I'd buy it.
And a special bag to collect all the shit.
Okay.
Whatever. Let's
All
just
right,
stop.
I'll wrap things up.
Shut this
by,
mother down.
I'll wrap things up by thanking once again all of you guys. I'm glad even though Thorin thinks I just like added James on out of nowhere. I mean, the reality is like I really wanted to have James kind of like in this whole dynamic that for the show today, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It was definitely an experience for me. It's the first show I think I've done that's 5.5 hours long, so that was pretty cool. The first 7 parts of the VOD are already available, guys, on YouTube. So you can go check that out. I'll have the last, I think, 1 or 2 parts available in 20 minutes or 30 minutes or something like that. So you can check
Can I
that
give you
out.
a quick thing? When
Yeah.
I was younger, for about a year or two, I used to be gay, okay? So I'm qualifying the statement with that. The unfiltered shirt has to be black. Don't make it navy blue. Because there are too many esports kids that are going to wear that navy blue shirt with black pants, and you don't want that shit. It will all look like idiots. Just make it black, okay? That's my executive
Black
input.
shirt
You
with
want a
black
black
pants or black shirt
shirt?
with like jeans? Or
Okay, so you want a
how are we
black
wearing
shirt?
Just make the shirt black. Don't make it navy blue because nobody knows how to
Steve,
dress. and they're
what
gonna-
I'm really upset about
Fuck.
is why aren't you modeling these T-shirts?
Oh, he will be.
Like,
What is that?
you know, for the photos, you know, like catalog models. Like,
It's
why
like
is
day 9, day 9 and all those like
Oh.
t-shirts on Jinx.
I
and
was gonna
shit.
say, like, what's it, handsome nerd shit, right? Like, why aren't you doing that, brother?
Ask Chan, man. What
Seriously.
the fuck, man?
Yeah, Chaman, why isn't Stephen Destiny Bennell the second or whatever regal title he applies to himself this fine evening? Why?
He has
Why
the most
isn't
British
he
name of
your...
everyone on here.
Because I don't even have
Actually,
one.
it is true. It is depressingly true. But why isn't he your model?
I don't even have
We'll
a
look
model
into
in
it.
that thing. So once
We'll
we
look
have a
into it.
real shirt,
Like,
maybe
obviously,
he will.
through your Asian connections, they get made in a sweatshop. So why isn't
A
Stephen
Bulgarian sweatshop or?
modeling? No, I love
Is that what you're
Bulgarian
implying?
Could you
or-
say so? Would you be able to say, because your last name's pretty generic, that this comes from a family-owned company, or
Are you talking to
I'm
me?
just
or
Oh
joking.
my god.
I was talking to the guy whose last name is Chan.
Oh, God.
I thought
the
so.
most
Good.
popular
Nice
name.
one.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it. Again, follow us all on Twitter. Gosh, what are our Twitters? At ChanManV, at Steven_Bonnell, at Richard_A_Lewis, at Thorin with 2 O's, I believe. Right? 3 O's. 3 O's, and then at follow 2good or 2GD. And follow this channel too if you enjoyed the show or any of my other shows, Wednesday Night Sprites, Value Town. And again, the VODs will be at YouTube, or the VODs are at youtube.com/ChanManV. So go check that out too. Would appreciate it. And that's going to be it, guys. That's going to be it for all shows for 2013. We will see you in 2014. Later.
Rip.